want to bring up Eddie Hearn. He reveals that Conor Benn could make a shock comeback in Florida just next week. Conor Benn and probably a Billy Joe Saunders rematch. And let me tell you something out there. Billy Joe, when we saw you...
Best part of the night, know what it was?
The free food and drink.
Yeah, and it was air
banging. And the air conditioning. Hi guys, we want you to share our content. Simply like, subscribe or follow our channels on all social media outlets. The more people you tag, the more posts you make, the more chance you've got of winning. We're giving away 5 $50 prizes. Get boxing. Hi guys, and welcome back to third time now for our episode of No F's Given with good pal Max here at fighterstalktv. How are you, mate?
Yes, I'm wicked. Do you know why?
Why's that?
Because I'm in my own ass.
Yeah. Well, it's not like I can't force you here. However, Max has been helping me out on a new lake that I've got, and yeah, so we're just sort of putting all that together because the doctor says I need to take some rest, and I said no. So anyway, guys, we just come back. Last week we were very fortunate. We were invited to London to the press conference of Tyson Fury, Francis Ngannou. Many thanks to Queensbury, Matt Rich over there, obviously Frank Warren and all the team. Really nice to meet them all. You know, Bob Arum, Tyson Fury, Francis Ngannou. You know, there was a lot of people there. Joe Joyce was there.
And the Prince of Riyadh was there.
Yeah, and His Excellency was there as well, which was really good. I met the referee for the fight, who does all the big fights over there in Riyadh. So it was really quite nice, and yeah, so...
The best part of the night, know what it was?
The free food and drink!
Yeah, and it was air
banging! And the air conditioning. Yeah, it was like 34 degrees in central London when we were there. The air conditioning was banging, and they had some nice canapes there. That was really, really nice of them. Matt, if you do the food in the other rooms, you need to tell us about it, because we didn't find that one out. But yeah, it was quite nice. It was quite nice. Anyway, so let's start with some interesting news then, buddy. Obviously, there wasn't very much boxing going on last week. I want to bring up Eddie Hearn. He reveals that Conor Benn could make a shock comeback in Florida just next week. And then he admitted that talks are underway for Chris Eubank Jr. fight in December.
Yes. Well, I'll tell you what, there has been a lot of comment, because I put this fight up.
Yeah.
What if Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr. have a fight? And the comments are pretty much negative, going, he doesn't deserve it, he's a drugs cheat, he hasn't been cleared, blah blah blah, and it ain't just one or two. I mean, I've been getting thousands of comments through in the last sort of few days. It's ridiculous, and pretty much all of them are negative, but a lot of them say, well, if it does go through, it's going to happen anyway, regardless of what we all say. It's because it's a rivalry fight more than anything, and there's a lot of money to be earned. Well, again, it's what it comes down to. No. Money.
Benjamins,
yes.
All about the Benjamins. I mean, the other thing that I was sort of listening and I was hearing about was that the fact that Chris Eubank has actually said, unless Conor Benn proves his innocence, that he isn't going to fight. Also, that he's the A side, and I totally agree with him. Although we know Conor and we've spoken with Conor, I do agree that, you know, you've got an A and a B side to all of this, and I think after what's previously happened, you can't blame Chris for saying, you know, I'm the A side, I'm the A side.
Yeah, definitely, especially after the first fight broke down because of what happened to Conor, and then obviously Eubank went on to have 2 fights, obviously both against Liam Smith, and he absolutely battered Smith. So I think he's got the right to puck his chest out and say, well, I'm the A side now, you do what I want.
Well, I certainly hope that Conor Benn comes up to 160 to fight at Chris Eubank's weight.
He said on the fight night at Chris Eubank and Liam Smith, when I'll come up to any weight, I'm at 160 or whatever now, I'll fight him at that. I don't care, any weight.
Yeah, there's the one thing saying it, another thing doing it. I can't imagine Eddie Hearn being too...
I'm pretty sure he said he was weighing 170 on that fight night. He's weighing 170, Conor Benn.
It's a big claim. I mean, he's not very big. He's not very big.
He's not very tall.
No, he isn't. And nice enough fella, actually. We get on.
Yeah, he's a lovely fella when we met him. But
I'm not in the squared circle with him.
Nah, that's it. don't mind shaking your hand outside it.
He'll be shaking you by the neck inside it. Yeah. I'll tell you, it's going to be whichever way that goes. I mean, I would like to see it from a legacy point of view, because obviously we know Chris Eubank Jr, Senior and obviously Nigel Benn, which are the fathers of these two fighters, actually
yes.
Had some good fights in that ring, and of course Steve Collins come and battered the pair of them. Yes. but I think there's a good family rivalry there. The other thing I want to sort of mention is Chris Eubank, actually, after his fight where he beat Beefy. I mean, he just gave him a beat down in that. He was just battered. Yeah. Liam Smith claimed of losing 40 pounds he lost, or whatever.
Yeah, listen, there was these excuses after excuses. Listen, hold your hands up. You lost to a better fighter at the end of the night, regardless whether you lost weight or not. You know, we could say about the first fight, Eubank was underweight and he had to, get through it to fight you. You know what I mean?
And you're quite adamant, aren't you, that because Chris Eubank actually was mentally and physically drained from weight loss for the Conor Benn fight, that's why he lost the first fight to Liam Smith.
Yeah, that's what I've always said. I've always said that, and I'll stick by it. I think he lost that fight because of what went on mentally, physically. And he shouldn't have had that fight. He should have left it another month or two.
Well, that's it. I think, Chris Eubank Sr. was really worried about his son. I think it was justifiably so. I think that he's put himself, after that massive win, back into the mix. I think that they're talking about world titles.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Else.
Listen, I watched that fight and he looked like a world-class boxer.
Well, he is.
Yeah,
he showed his pedigree.
He's up there to actually fight for an actual title now.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I meant, getting onto that bit.
I think that he's got, there's bags and bags of talent in this kid. I mean, he's not a kid anymore. He's 34 years old. He's coming to the point where, he's in physically good shape. So he's probably going to be able to last another 4 or 5 years. Max is lobbing things around. He's physically in good. He's physically in good shape. He's probably got another sort of at least 4 or 5 years in the ring. Showing on that on his last performance, I honestly put hand in the air and said that Eubank Jr. has got 3 fights left. Beefy Smith, Conor Benn, and probably a Billy Joe Saunders rematch. And let me tell you something out there, Billy Joe, when we saw you aren't going to want any of that. I'm telling you, he ain't going to want any of that. He would have watched that fight. I can't see it
coming back. He's been out of the ring too long, and also he looked like he put a bit of weight on.
I'm a big chap, so I'm not going to say anything. But he when we see him, he did look like there was a bit of timber there.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he'd been training at all in these last couple of years. Know what I mean? I mean, obviously, he couldn't do nothing for the first sort of 6 months because his eye was busted. It was quite a bad break. But it doesn't look like he'd done anything.
Well, that's it. And I think that he's... I'd like to see him back. I would like to see Billy Joe back. But I think that there may be a mountain too high to climb for him. I'm not saying it's impossible because Tyson Fury come back with a massive weight loss and
10 stone, wasn't it?
Yeah, he did 10 stone. Yeah, he did, and he's got Ben Davison to thank for that. Who was there at the Ngannou press conference as well? Yeah. I just think that ultimately it's probably a stretch too far. And if I was Billy Joe Saunders, I wouldn't want any of Chris Eubank on that sort of form either. No, I don't think so.
Definitely not.
I think Billy Joe is a great fighter. I really do. But I think as a comeback fight, that would be too much.
Yeah, does he even need to come back fighting? Surely he's got enough money to retire and enjoy himself, look after his family and that, and do whatever. Does he really need to come back and fight?
I don't know, really. I mean, it's when you've pulled on a set of gloves, it's like I was trying to come back and fight, and obviously that's not going to be able to happen now due to one reason or another. But you always think you've got one last one in you. You look at people like George Foreman who are coming back in their mid-40s. Winning a world title.
When
you
he's
look
50,
at it like
when he won his last belt.
Yeah. I mean, you do look at athletes like that. You do look at people like that. You do, and he was really chunky when he come back and won that, right? And of course, you know, you look at Butterbean and you think, oh, I've got a chance. Or you look at those two idiots from Misfits Boxing, Boogie and Wings of Redemption, and think, listen, everyone's got a chance to pull a set of gloves on and go in there. But you know, you have that in you. You know, you're born with it. I think you're born to fight. So that, you know, when you're a boxer, you're born to fight. You want to fight. You know. It goes back to caveman times. I mean, you know more than most on the cobbles, mate. You want to have a row after you've had a drink. You know, you're protecting your own.
Listen, I didn't need to have a drink to have a row. I think I've only had about 2 fights drunk. The rest of them have been straight.
But you know what it's like, right? So you have a bit of a tear up. You know, it sort of makes the world go round. So yeah, I can sort of see it, but I can't see Billy Joe Saunders coming out there and going, yeah, I'll take on Chris Eubank. Who is he? Well, he can't say that now. You know, what's he? Because he was saying before, I don't want Eubank. I want to fight Liam Smith. You might want to fight him now.
Yeah.
Right. You might want to fight him now, but you know, I don't think Liam Smith's a pushover. I think he had a very bad day. I think Eubank Jr got back in it and he bossed that. He absolutely bossed it.
Listen, I think every round, pretty much every round, right up until the stoppage, Eubank was on him. He was on him.
And he made it near on impossible.
He was throwing like 20, 30 combos.
Yeah, I mean,
business.
Without being rude, Anthony Joshua could learn a lot from him, couldn't he? Really, about how to throw it all in.
Don't say that, because I'm an heavyweight and I can't do stuff. I'm 18 stone. But there's plenty of and
then Tyson Fury can do it.
Who could throw bombs, and many of them. Look at Tyson, 16, 17, 28 combos.
Yeah,
it was a big heavyweight. It might not have been tall, but it was big.
It certainly was.
Lennox Lewis. You know what I mean?
Listen, I mean, you've only got to look at. I mean, you've only got to look at what's coming and look at some of the heavyweights in the division right now. And I just think, you know, it's going to be exciting fights. It's going to be exciting. So anyway, let's move on to the next thing, because we moved very vastly away from Eddie Hearn and that. But I do think I would like to see it, but I've got a feeling that Eddie's going to pull the plug at 160. I don't think he's going to allow that, because I think the problem with putting weight on, it gives you a bit more power, but it slows you down.
Yeah. Right.
So if you're coming up to Chris Eubank's weight, I think Conor's vicious enough to do a lot of damage.
Well, like we said before, I think Eubank needs to drop down one. Conor's got to come up to make it fair.
Well, I don't know if that will ever happen. I think Conor should come up the lot. I mean, I really do. But I think the problem that you've got is when he comes up, I think he's going to get a bit slower. And we've all seen Conor with Kevin Mitchell and Bill Whitrod and all that sort of training. And he is an evil beyond belief. But, you know,
he's very aggressive, very quick, and his punches sound hard. You know, I mean, different hitting pads to actually hitting someone, though, isn't it?
Well,
like I say, pads don't hit back.
They don't. And it's very difficult when you're getting cuffed around the ear with a pad to being punched in the face with a fist. You know what I mean? It's difficult. It is a little bit different, right?
It is that.
Anyway, so let's move on then. So Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, Saudi fight now confirmed as unlikely. I mean, was it ever going to be likely? Was it ever going to be likely?
Listen, they're saying unlikely. Then in the next breath, it's like, oh, it might not happen till March, April. It was going to be this year, and then it was going to be January, March, April. Now it's unlikely. I think Wilder's on it. I don't think AJ is. I think AJ's trying to hang it out for, say, a third one with Usyk.
Well, I mean, I don't see that happening. I mean, who's going to want to see that? Well, they've done
a Fury Wilder 3 times, so why couldn't they have AJ Usyk 3 times?
Well, you know, you are right in that. I have to say, you are right in that. But I mean, these two, I get sick and tired. You know, when you hear about, there's a couple of things that are annoying me right now. The heavyweight scene is an embarrassment. It's an
you know why?
embarrassment to world
It's
boxing.
become a circus, and it's all about earning the mega money. It's not about honour, pride, legacy. I'm the fucking champion. It's about, I'm going to earn the money instead. That's where it's about now.